Hello, my friends, and welcome to another devotional connection. I shared something with the kids at Glenview Academy in the chapel on Friday and was asked to share it as a devotional. I preached on it a little bit on Sabbath down at Maricopa Village, and I want to share it with you today. In Mark chapter 5, there's quite a number of stories of the miracles of Jesus, and this particular one happens to be healing the daughter of Jairus. So Jesus is just getting done with the demon possessed man in the region of the Gerasenes, and he heals the man, casts the demons into the pigs. The people in the town get upset, and they say, "Hey, you get out of here! You're messing with our money." And the man wants to go with Jesus, and Jesus says, "No, you stay here and go tell all the people in Decapolis what the Lord has done for you." And Jesus goes back across to the other side. And when he gets out of the lake, there is a crowd that was gathered around him. And one of the people that was there in the crowd was one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus. And he came to see Jesus, and he fell at his feet and he said, "Listen, my daughter is dying. Please come put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." And Jesus says, "Okay, let's go. Let's go to your house and let's go do this." And the crowd is just following Jesus, and they're pressing in and pressing in. And this is where you get the story of the woman who was there, who had an issue of blood and had been bleeding for 12 years. And she had enough faith that she thought, if I could just touch his clothes, I'll be healed. And she reached out and touched the hem of his garment. And we have songs written about this and stories written about this. The faith of this woman who had this issue, who had seen every doctor, who was shunned from society. And all these people are touching Jesus, but Jesus realizes that power has left his body. He did not command it to leave. He did not call upon his Father to give him power. Power left. Somebody bypassed him and went straight to the throne room and pulled power through him. And Jesus stops and says, "Who touched me?" And he keeps looking around. He doesn't see who it is. And finally, this woman, trembling, she's not even supposed to be there. She's being shunned from society. She tells him, "It was me." And he, in his infinite kindness and love, he does so much for her in this. He says, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." And I imagine that as Jairus is standing there watching this, while he is infinitely amazed and grateful for what Jesus has done, the humanity of who we are takes over. Jesus, that's nice, that's dandy, but she's a grown woman. She's been suffering from this for 12 years. She can wait. My daughter is dying right now. And verse 35 in Mark chapter 5 says, while Jesus was speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader, and said, "Your daughter's dead. Why bother the teacher anymore?" Now, I think about Jairus' face in that moment. He was so close. He had been to every doctor. He was the synagogue leader. He had prayed every prayer. He had laid hands and possibly even anointed his daughter. I know those are the things I would have done if this was my child. Never leaving their side. Going through everything possible to find a way to heal my child. Beseeching God day and night. And now you hear, we have no evidence that Jairus had met Jesus before. But now you're here that this Jesus who's been teaching and preaching and performing miracles is in town, and he had already left to go to the other side, and now his boat is back, and you're thinking maybe, just maybe, he can do it. And you're so close, you got him to come to your house. He agreed, and you're on your way, and the crowd is pressing, and you want people to just move. My daughter is dying. Did you not hear me? And this woman stops him. This unclean stops him. And you're just thinking, we're so close. And then you get the word that your daughter, your 12-year-old beautiful child, has died. What was his feelings? What was his face? And verse 36 says, overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, don't be afraid, just believe. And if you don't know the rest of the story, you should read it because it's a beautiful story. There's so much to the rest of the story, but I'm going to focus here for right now. Jesus told him, just believe. John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that gave his only begotten Son, that those who believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Just believe. Hebrews 11:1-3 says, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance of what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what is visible. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, we walk by faith, not by sight, not by what you see, not by what you feel. You walk by your faith. James 1:2-4 says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. It's amazing how many times faith comes up first. And so I began to study that. Why faith, God? Why belief? Why trust in you come up first? And it's because of this simple concept about humanity. Here it is. If we believe it to be true, we act on it, even when we can't see the final outcome. If it comes out the way we believed it would, then trust develops and the cycle continues. It's literally called the faith cycle. The more we believe something, the more likely we will act on it. How is this an example? Here it is. I know that if I believe that you're a thief, I treat you one way. I don't trust you around my things. I don't trust you around my children. I don't trust you around my home. But if I believe you to be the kind and benevolent person, then I act a totally different way. That's one of the reasons I don't like talking about some subjects with people, because it leads me to believe that you believe certain things that don't coincide with what I believe in my moral values. And I don't want to look at you a different way, because I'm going to act on what I believe about you, just as you would about me. I have had people tell me before they ever come up to me, before they ever get to know me, I'd hate to meet you down a dark alley. And I have said before how offensive that is to me. You don't even know me, but you're telling me what you believe about me before I've ever even had a chance to defend myself to you, to explain myself to you, to show you who I am. And you're already passing judgments on what you believe about not me, but people who look like me. It's offensive. So here's this man, Jairus, and he is explaining this and seeing this, and Jesus says, just believe. What we need to work on, if we're going to work on anything, is the work that God wants us to do, and that's believing in the one who he sent. That's Bible. Here is the work of God. Believe in the one whom he has sent, because your belief controls your actions. It doesn't work the other way around. What you believe will determine what you do. We have to work on believing. Talk to you guys again soon.